Thank you. We'll now go in order of seniority, starting with Mr. Biggs.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the witnesses for being here, and thank you to the City of Santee for hosting us, and we appreciate all the folks from the public being here today. And to Mr. Hestron, bear down, and let's talk for a moment about the state's support. Are they supporting you in your effort? Because you're prosecuting as a county attorney state charges of illegal aliens who come into your county and violate I assume the state law. That's where you're focused, right?
Yes.
And is the state of California supporting that effort?
Not at all.
And how about the federal government?
The federal government has been supportive. The U.S. Attorney for the Central District, Martin Estrada, we collaborate with him, cooperate with him and his office, and they've been supportive. Federal drug trafficking causing death is a 20-year minimum in prison, and we've had several prosecutions. My office actually embeds a deputy district attorney in the U.S. Attorney's office, and that's how we do these prosecutions.
I'm glad to hear that. I hope that you're also able to work with CBP, and I hope that you carry your program out. We have two counties, at least two counties in Arizona. I could probably name you more, but Cochise County, Yuma County, doing the same type of thing, prosecuting on state charges. They might not be getting the assistance from our state either. So maybe state to state contact would be helpful. Ms. Cardinale, I just want to question: is the police escort still necessary for the buses that your son has to travel on?
They have now stopped.
They've not stopped.
They have stopped.
They have now stopped the
Yes.
police escorts. And is your son back on the bus?
Yes.
Well, we're concerned about that, and we're concerned about the safety of not just your son, but all the kids going back and forth to school in this time. And there's lots of questions to ask all of you, and our time's going to go fast. So I wanted to just point out, Mayor Minto, when you talked about the resource center, you're talking about over a 5-month period. You had 80,000 people go through there, 99% of which were released into the country. But there were between 125 and 154,000 over about a 7-month period that were street released into San Diego County. Is that right?
That's correct. And so if you look at it, the math doesn't really add up.
Right.
We had about 80,000 that made it to that center. And if it hadn't been for having that center and the foresight of our county supervisors to actually put that there, all of them would have been released to the streets and had that negative impact on all of our communities.
And part and parcel of that is because there's so many people that are coming through that are being processed by CBP, detention facilities can't hold them. They're releasing them into the street, and we see the same thing in Arizona, by the way. So what happens is it strains your resources, your local resources, and there's not adequate vetting. Some of you have pointed that out. And that's why they're throwing the cards down, because we don't have agreements with many countries on who will actually let us take them back or send them back. So I appreciate your testimony today. Mayor Franklin, we were talking beforehand about these cards that have gone through there, and I appreciate your strong statement because and Sheriff Sharp, because if you don't enforce the law, you cannot get a handle on this very, very serious problem. And I'll just say, Mr. Goddard, your testimony is enlightening as well. And I want all of you to know I've read all of your testimony, and I just want to make a few comments here. So to help you understand, so Yuma County is right on the Colorado River between California and here. I was looking this up here. In 2020, the last year that Donald Trump was the president, that administration, we saw a total of 8,774 encounters in that county, in that sector, in the whole Yuma sector, which is a huge sector. It took only, after the Biden team came on, and I should call it the regime, not the team, by February, you'd already seen them get to 5,000 in 1 month. In March, they had 12,000. They had 12,000 in that March. And there has not been, until, you can go until a couple of months ago, there's not ever been a month under the Biden regime that has been lower than the entire year last year. And what was that? So if I can, I'm sorry, I'm going to go over, I know you're going to gavel me down. He wants to pull the hook on me. I'm hurrying, Mr. Chairman. Here's the deal.
You know, this is the kinder, gentle Darrell. You're just not ready for it.
Yeah, I wasn't used to that. Sir.
The gentleman may continue for a time.
Yes, I'll hurry. So you got in Manhattan, 75% of violent crimes now are reported to be committed by illegal aliens. You've seen what happened in Aurora, Colorado. 2 apartment complexes taken over by Tren de Aragua. So they've done it violently. What did the governor say of Colorado? He said, this is all imagination. It's not real. Don't believe what your lying eyes are telling you. It happened in Chicago recently. 32 armed gang members from that Venezuelan violent gang called Tren de Aragua took over an apartment complex. This is it's permeating throughout the country. You're experiencing it here. You're like some of our Arizona counties, which are transit. So these people are coming in and they're going throughout the country. So how do you resolve some of that? I would just say we need to reinstitute Title 42. We need to reinstate MPP. We need to make sure ICE is actually removing the 1.5 million people who have had due process and have removal orders from our courts. This administration won't let them be removed. They need to be removed. We need to find the more than 300,000 children. Now, by the way, when we talk about unaccompanied minors, if you're 17 years old or if you're 25 and tell them you're 17, you'll be treated as an unaccompanied minor. But so you have a wide range there, but we have misplaced. This administration has misplaced over 300,000. You remember what the media did to the previous administration that misplaced a couple thousand. And they found everyone but about 50 of those. I was on the committee that was investigating that. So I can tell you. DNA testing, we stopped that. We can't vet. So if you're throwing down your ID and you are a blank sheet of paper to the CBP, and you can create a whole new legend for yourself. And we need to have our detention facilities and use those, because if you're removing, you're doing hands-on stopping at the border, and you are detaining people rather than releasing them throughout the U.S., you make the country safer, first of all, but you also stop the incentive factor to come over here. And there's so much more to be said about this, Mr. Chairman. I'm grateful that we're holding this hearing, and I thank you for your indulgence. And I have so much more to say on this topic, but I will yield back. Thank you.
I thank the gentleman. We now recognize